Good day, people. Hope all is well. So massive thank you to those watching the video and those who subscribe, and if you haven't already, give that subscribe button a little click and the like button a little click as well. So starting off this series is how we can achieve our physical potential, so how we can unlock our physical potential. And we're going to split the series into different fundamentals, different aspects of what we need to in order to achieve this. And without further ado, what we're going to start with today is training. So how we can really unlock our training capabilities, how we can really unlock our potential, is really looking at our structure, our frequency. And what I mean by this is how many times can you train, not over a week, but I would stretch it out to over a period of 2 weeks. And what this does, it just gives you a little bit more it gives you a little bit more aspects when it comes to your training in order to hit either an upper body session, a lower body session, maybe some strength and conditioning, some endurance. Because coming from a bodybuilding perspective, I understand, and even football and going into the martial arts now, which I am currently, I understand that there's a certain amount of skill level that needs to be taught. So this is your training from my aspect of things. Where I'm coming from with my training right now would be that I have a skill level to learn in terms of jiu-jitsu and grappling and with the martial arts, but then I also have my strength work, I also have my endurance work, I also have my mind work, I also have my yoga, I also have the internal body arts that I need to fit in. So there's quite a lot of skill sets, techniques that I need to fit in order for me to achieve my best. Now, that doesn't have to be for everyone. Now, this is gonna, how to unlock your physical potential if you're just getting started. You don't have to start with all that. You can take one step at a time, and then as you shift through the gears, you might have a gear 1. So this is going to be the phase that you're going to just maybe get into the gym a couple times a week, maybe an upper body, a lower body. Then you might have a gear 2 where you're going to start putting maybe an upper body, lower body, strength and conditioning. Then gear 3, you can start to put in maybe some more recovery capabilities. Can you get into the cold water? Can you do some sauna treatments? Can you start to invest a little bit more in maybe a deep tissue massage? Can you start to do all them other recovery capabilities that are going to allow you to consistently keep moving forwards? Gear 4, as you start to progress, you've maybe started to achieve where you want to be physically. You might want to start to increase your muscle mass, increase your strength, increase your overall endurance. And it's also gear 4, you might have to start looking at the past in a sense of where you are with your training and how you can start to progress your training as well from this sense. So you might have a journal, you might be starting to look how you can evolve within the journal. It might not just be with the reps, it might not be with strength, it might be how form and techniques, so video analysis, filming your training on where you can go here. And then you might have gear 5 where you start to put things like breath work, yoga, flexibility work. And this isn't like separate sessions, this can all be within one session. Now I'm going to talk about training frequency in the sense of your weekly structure. Now I'm going to come from my view with where I'm coming from with my training, because there's many martial arts artists that follow this channel, and there's many people that might have work commitments, family commitments, but just struggle to get everything in. And it is a challenge, especially when you've got to attend maybe 4 or 5 classes a week, sometimes 6, and then you've got to get your own work in, and then you've got to recover from that as well and have a recovery day. So let's break it down. Okay, so we have an upper body day, an upper body workout. Now, we don't have to have like all these different exercises that can come in. You can start to be clever with your exercises. For instance, you might have an upper body A. So I have an upper body A, an upper body B. So this is when it spreads out over the 2 weeks. So there's 2 rotations. So just to give you an example of my training frequency at the moment, that is spread out of 2 weeks. So it's yoga and flexibility and breath work every morning. That goes without saying. That is a non-negotiable for me. This is something that I find works extremely well. It keeps me energized. It allows me to have my mind prepped. It also allows me to be energized for my family, and just keep that mental clarity. So upper body A, lower body A, strength and conditioning A, endurance A, and then the rest are non-negotiables throughout the week. The same applies, so there'll be an upper body B, a lower body B, strength and conditioning B, endurance B. Now, throughout the different stages of when I'm competing, I will start to reduce either one of them sessions, or sometimes even all of them. For instance, when I was coming to the British Championships, when I was prepping for that, I actually took out all of them because there was so much sparring going on within the skill sets that for 2 weeks I had to actually just have a bit of a deload going into the competitions, because the muscle recovery capabilities weren't going to be there. So I needed to monitor that. So sometimes you will have to be flexible. You will have to be very spacious with your training. So firstly, when it comes to unlocking your potential, is understanding your capabilities, your recovery capabilities, your progression, and also have an end goal, but then reverse engineer it. So what I mean by this is, for instance, you want to achieve a maximum lifts or strength or physical capabilities, or you want to learn a skill set. You have all this here where you want to be, and then you reverse engineer it. So you reverse your structure and your weeks in order to get there. Super important. Now I'm just going to drop back to how you can start to fit in different exercises that are going to allow you to work multiple muscle groups, so you're not having to go through individual isolation exercises, and you can start to use the compounds that are going to actually help you unlock your potential. And this is something that is so important. Exercises that are difficult, that require you to perform, require a different level of energy, enthusiasm, work rate, and recovery capabilities, the ones that are going to get you to where you want to be, the ones that are really difficult. So for example, in the upper body program, especially when it comes to the pull movements, weighted pull-ups, but then going into body weighted pull-ups, because this is such a difficult exercise, and we're neutralizing the biceps, we're neutralizing the lats, we're neutralizing the upper back as well on how we do these. And then when we go into the exercises, the strategy in which you pick in order to get the best out of yourself as well. Because what I mean by this is, we work up, and anyone who I work with, we have a strategy that we work up with as well. But for pull-ups, this is our strategy. So we do as many warm-up sets as we possibly can, low rep range, because we don't want to burn into the energy, we don't want to exhaust the energy, we want to make sure that the energy is minimum when we neutralize this. We don't want to burn into the energy that we're going to use for our top set. So when we go into our top set, which is weighted pull-ups, we're going to try and go to and push the body to as much as we need. We want to make sure that we achieve maximum failure in this exercise. And this isn't just from, you know, the positive stage, this is from all the movements, even the hanging of the movement. We want to make sure that we're exhausted and we can't hang on anymore. Once we've done that, deload, allow the lactic acid to just fade away from the set. Then we take the weight off, and then we go back in with the body weight to see how much we can achieve. So rather than mess around with like 3 or 4 sets of 10 and the standard exercises that you might do in a set, we have strategy, and we want to achieve strength. We want to make sure that we get the body full of that lactic acid, and then also we want to make sure that we reduce it, and then we go back again and make sure that we can maximize our potential with the reps. So you can see strength and endurance are all in that set, and that's how we do it. So for example, the pull-ups, that is a pull movement that is neutralizing the biceps and is also neutralizing the back. So that could be our pull movement for the day. Then we are going to neutralize a flat floor press or an explosive press up. And again, this is neutralizing the chest, it's neutralizing the delts, the front delt. and it's also neutralizing the triceps as well. So this could be also 3 different movements. So rather than thinking, oh, that's just doing chest, doing it in a way that activates all the muscles. And if you do a press up right, you'll even feel your shoulder blades and the upper back start to be connected to the exercise as well. So you can see already with the upper body, we've worked biceps, lats, upper back, triceps, chest, and also front deltoid within 2 exercises. So we're trying to reduce the amount of exercises that we need to incorporate into our sessions. And then when we go into the next upper body, we might have to do some core movements. We might even go into a dip, maybe just if we feel like we need to isolate some more muscle groups, maybe the press ups didn't hit the triceps as much as you wanted, you could incorporate some dips in there as well, and incorporate some core exercises. And then you'd maybe move into some power movements as well, maybe some throws, some med ball throws. Maybe that would really work for you, especially if it was coming towards martial arts. Maybe some twisting and some rotation movements that can go in there as well. But you can see what you can neutralize in terms of your exercises. A lower body session, you know, something that I definitely like to do, especially when it comes to martial arts, neutralizing the box jumps, because jumping high and explosive works tremendously well, because you've got a low center of gravity, and then you also working on balance going onto the platform and coming off the platform, and then you're working on that explosive movement going up, which is tremendous for martial arts and is tremendous for all sports. I've actually done this ever since I was 14 playing football, and it's something that I was taught from a young age, and I've just continued on and working with a strength and conditioning coach as well when I was doing the MMA, revived that and remembered that exercise that is now still being neutralized today. So you got box jumps to start with the lower exercise, and then you got Zercher squats. Man, Zercher squats are using the biceps, the front deltoid, the lower back, the abs are getting connected there, glutes, hamstrings, quads, all being neutralized. And this is just something to really keep in mind, that when you can use movements that allow you to work a lot of muscle groups at once, then you don't have to waste your time using different other exercises that maybe just work a single or 2 muscle groups at a time. And I'm seeing this with these exercises because when you are using energy, this is energy that needs to be put back into the body as well. So this is energy that we need to recover from. So we're going to allow ourselves to have maybe more days off training, more nutrition, more recovery capabilities are going to be needed. And if you have work commitments, family commitments, skill level commitments, then needing to get your strength endurance working, you can see how much that is just needed in order to be a unique athlete or to achieve your physical potential. So you can see how you can alter the training volume to match the frequency that is needed for you to achieve. And I think this is the highlight of this video, is how you can neutralize your training to match your recovery capabilities and what you need in order to get the best out of yourself as well. So moving on, so that's covered the strength work. And in your endurance work could be a 5k run, a 10k run, some hill sprints. It really is depending on what you're needing. Or if you're a complete beginner, it could be a 20-30 minute walk, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week. If you're from Cumbria, living in Cumbria, you've got the opportunity to hit maybe a mountain walk once a week. So there's all sorts of different endurance exercises that you can do. Or you could even actually change that to another day. If you were so busy, you could actually allow yourself just to do the martial arts rounds. You could stay a little bit later within your class and do some shadow boxing extra. So this is giving you some ideas on how you can really start to neutralize your time in a way to be effective towards your training. And you know, even if you were playing football, sport, rugby, football, you could stay after training and do some sprints, get some sprints in, even if it's 5, 10, whatever that might be. To really step into your full potential, you've got to master the mind and master the body to allow yourself to do what's necessary for you to achieve that goal. Okay, so moving into the S&C, which pretty much within our training, there is a lot of S&C involved, but a little basic S&C for me at the moment is just doing little fundamentals when it comes to jiu-jitsu, little jiu-jitsu movements, sit-throughs, maybe frog jumps, lunges. What else am I doing at the moment? Hill sprints. So you can see how the endurance day and the S&C day can be quite similar, but what I would try and do is neutralize the skill set that you would do in the movements within your classes and put them in towards an S&C, so you just, the body can remember, the body can just be in flow with these exercises. You can really fall into the pattern of just really drilling the exercises that you do in these movements. So when you are in the flow of maybe sparring or in your sessions, you've just drilled it so many times, it's just so fluent. And I love the Bruce Lee saying, when it says, you know, fearing the man, I don't fear the man that practices a kick 1,000 times or 10,000 times, I think something like that. Don't quote me on this, I'm going off the top of my head. But he fears the man who practices the one kick 10,000 times. So you see what I mean? So if you're drilling something constantly over and over and over again, and it's within your weekly schedule, and you know, it's just so fluent and it just becomes so easy, because we have to take into consideration the different body mechanics when it comes to sport. You know, for example, if you've never done wrestling before, jiu-jitsu, and you're a footballer, and you then come into a new sport, it's going to be different. It's going to be allow the body to adapt to that. Or if you're a complete beginner, it's gonna be different for you. So on a nutshell of all this that I've just completely went into on this video on training and how you can really neutralize your training. So I think on an overview is, remember that you've got different gears, remember that you're at different levels depending where you are, and you have to be honest with yourself on where you are in order to unlock that, and in order to keep that a long-term objective. And then you have to have a vision, have a goal, and have different phases of that vision, and then you can reverse engineer that back. So it takes, you can be intuitive with this, of course, but you can see how much it takes to really bring into the training to really unlock. And if you are constantly having, you know, different family commitments, work commitments, whatever, you can see how it can be quite difficult. So that is something to really bear in mind as well. Okay, people, so I'm going to keep this as short as possible as I can. You know, there's going to be lots coming with this series, and this is definitely series 1, focusing on training. I might even do another one on training depending on feedback or whatever comes our way. So if you've got any questions, or you have any questions about what I've just spoken about, or maybe how you can adapt your training to become your full potential, please leave a comment, please drop a comment. It'll be, you know, more than willing to fire back with any questions as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited for the future episodes, because it's, if you couldn't tell, it's something that I'm really enthusiastic about, the strategy when it comes to training and how we can really unlock our full potential. So yeah, peace out, people. Massive thank you for those that support the channel, and if you haven't already, give that a little like and a subscribe. And again, really appreciate the support, people. So big love, and speak to you soon.